So you made it through law school, you passed the bar exam, but what about the stuff they don't teach you? Today, we're diving into the unofficial survival guide for new lawyers, Karen Thalacker's fantastic book, 101 Things They Don't Teach You in Law School. Think of this as the real-world playbook, right? You've spent years, literally years, getting to this point. You passed the LSAT, you survived cold calls, you conquered the bar, you landed the job. But now what? It's kind of like that dog that finally catches the car it's been chasing. Okay, now what do you do with it? Because law school lives in this world of theory, right? It's all about statutes, case law, nice clean lines. But the actual practice of law, oh, that's a whole different ballgame. It's messy, it's about real people with real problems, it's about office politics, and it's definitely about that relentless ticking clock of the billable hour. So, to help you bridge that huge gap between the classroom and the courtroom, we've broken down all this wisdom into 4 key parts. First, we'll talk about just starting out on the right foot. Then, we'll get into navigating all the people you'll deal with. After that, it's time to talk business, the stuff they for sure don't teach you. And finally, we'll zoom out and look at how to build a career that you can actually stick with for the long haul. Okay, let's kick things off at the very beginning, your first year. This is it. This is where you lay the groundwork for your entire career. It's not just about getting by. It's about setting yourself up for success from day one. And here is the absolute truth that no one tells you. Your first job is not really about being a legal genius. Nope, it's about being a good employee. You're a rookie in a brand new game, and you've got to learn the unwritten rules fast. So think of this as your new lawyer survival kit. First up, appearances matter. I'm serious. Dress the part, keep your office from looking like a disaster zone. Next, your to-do list is everything. It is your lifeline when you're juggling a dozen different cases. Third, learn this now. When a partner asks for a draft, they don't mean a rough sketch. They mean a final, polished, ready-to-go document. And last, but probably most important, stay humble. You don't know everything, and that is perfectly okay. Be curious, ask questions, be a sponge. All right, so you've got the basics of just showing up and getting your work done. Now let's talk about the real wild card, the people. Because practicing law is not a solo mission. It is a team sport 100%. Just think about it. Every single day, you're dealing with a whole cast of characters, right? You've got partners, other associates, paralegals, assistants, not to mention clients, judges, and the lawyers on the other side. How you build relationships with every single one of them is maybe the biggest predictor of your long-term success. So, how do you handle the minefield of office politics? Here's the game plan. 1, just do great work. Let that be your reputation. 2, when you mess up, and you will, just own it. 3, and this is a big one, do not get involved in gossip. Just don't. It's poison. Instead, find a work ally, someone you can trust. And what about those difficult attorneys on the other side? Don't take their bait. It's not about you. Stay professional and focus on your client. And this all leads to maybe my favorite piece of advice from the entire book. Start off being nice. You can always be a jerk later. It's so simple, but it's genius. You're going to see these same people for the next 30 years. You can always choose to be tough, but you can never, ever take back being a jerk right out of the gate. Play the long game. Okay, let's shift gears. Time to talk about the one thing your contracts professor never mentioned, how you actually make money. Welcome to Section 3, running your practice like a business. You know, this is a huge wake-up call for so many new associates. Your law firm is not a nonprofit. It is a business with revenue and expenses and a bottom line. And if you want to make it, you have to start thinking like a business owner. And what fuels that business? Yes, the famous or infamous billable hour. This little 6-minute increment of time is going to rule your life. Every phone call, every email, every minute of research, it's all being tracked, all being billed. And trust me, finding 8 billable hours in a day is a whole lot harder than just being at the office for 8 hours. And the business side doesn't just stop when the case is over. There's this whole administrative dance of actually closing a case file that you never learn about in school. You have to finalize the court order, send a formal closing letter, get that final bill out the door, and then properly store the file. It's not glamorous, but it is absolutely essential. So what are the golden rules of legal finance? Pretty simple, really. First, get paid. Don't be afraid to talk about money and get a retainer up front.
Second, your clients are your customers. Treat them incredibly well because happy clients come back and they tell their friends. Third, protect your career. Never, ever, ever let your malpractice insurance lapse. It is your ultimate safety net. Oh, and remember all that free legal research you did in law school? Yeah, it's not free anymore.
So you've figured out how to be a good employee, a good colleague, and a good business person. Now it's time for the final piece of the puzzle. How to build a career that doesn't just look good on paper, but actually feels good to live. Those first few years can feel like an absolute sprint. The pressure is insane, the hours are brutal. Burnout is not just a buzzword, it is a clear and present danger for every lawyer. That's why you have to remember that this whole thing is a marathon. Success isn't just your win-loss column. It's about building the life you actually enjoy, inside and outside the office. So what's the secret sauce for a long, happy legal career? Well, here are a few key ingredients. First, you have to find an outlet, something creative, something physical, anything that gets your mind off the law. Second, leave your work at work. Your partner is not a hostile witness you need to cross-examine. Third, always trust your gut. If a client asks you to do something that feels even a little bit shady, that's the smell test, and it's telling you to run. And finally, give back. Use your skills for pro bono work. It's good for the community, and honestly, it's good for your soul. And that brings us to our final thought. It's a question the book asks, and it's one that really sticks with you. What will people say at your funeral? It's kind of a gut punch, but it's a powerful question. It forces you to think about what really matters in the long run. It's not going to be about how many cases you won or how much money you made. It's going to be about the lives you touched and the kind of person you were. And that is a legacy worth thinking about from your very first day on the job.